Welcome! Today, we're diving into a really fascinating idea called cyclomancy. The core concept? That you have this incredible hidden engine in your mind, and if you can learn to control it, well, it could change just about everything. So let's get right into it.
Okay, let's start with a question, and I bet this will sound familiar. Have you ever had one of those weird experiences that feels like it's just a little too perfect to be a coincidence?
You know what I'm talking about. You're thinking about an old friend you haven't seen in years, and bam, they message you out of the blue. Or you just know who's on the other end of the line a split second before your phone even rings. Most of the time, we just shrug it off, right? Just random chance. But what if it's not? What if those little moments are actually signals of a dormant power you have inside you?
Well, according to a researcher named Frank Rudolph Young, those signals are coming from a hidden engine, a kind of invisible spinning vortex of energy located right at the very center of your mind.
He actually gave it a name, the mind gyro. And this is the absolute core of cyclomancy. The whole idea is pretty simple, actually. The speed of this spinning vortex directly affects your mental state. If it's spinning slow, your thoughts are all over the place. They're scattered, weak. But when it starts spinning fast, that's when it generates this immense power and focus, kind of like what we'd call a flow state today.
The best way to really wrap your head around this is with an analogy. Just picture a spinning top. When it's moving slowly, it wobbles, it's unstable, and it falls over easily. That's your mind when your thoughts are scattered. But what happens when you get that top spinning really, really fast? It becomes incredibly stable, laser-focused. That stability, that's power.
And that's the whole ballgame, right there. Cyclomancy is basically the practice of learning how to control the spin of your own mind gyro. It's about turning your brain from just a processor into a dynamic, powerful energy source.
So, the million-dollar question. How do you fuel this engine? How do you actually get that top to spin faster? The answer is surprisingly simple. In fact, it's something you're doing this very second, breathing.
Young taught that the real key is in your breath. But we're not just talking about regular, everyday breathing here. The idea is that you're not just pulling in oxygen, you're consciously drawing in what ancient traditions have called prana, or chi, the basic life force of the entire universe. And you do this through a very specific technique called the cyclonic breath.
And this is your first practical takeaway, a simple 5-minute practice you can do every day. As you breathe in, you actually visualize pulling in this bright, golden, cosmic energy, and then, when you breathe out, you imagine all the stress, all the negativity just leaving your body like a puff of dark smoke. According to the theory, this is how you start to charge up your mind gyro.
So, once you start charging up this internal battery, what can you actually do with it? Well, the very first practical application is a powerful one. You learn how to build a mental defense against the outside world.
Once you've learned to charge your mind gyro with that cosmic energy, the next step is to project it outward. And the first, and honestly maybe the most useful application of this, is to build what Young called a psychic armor.
Think of it like a personal energy shield. I mean, just think about your daily life. We are constantly getting bombarded by other people's stress, their anger, their negativity. This psychic armor is designed to just deflect all of that stuff, keeping you calm and centered and stopping you from soaking up all the emotional garbage that's floating around out there.
The source material actually gives a perfect real-world example of this. It tells the story of a salesman who was just getting worn down by constant rejection. So he started this practice of visualizing a protective bubble of energy around himself every single morning. And he reported that almost immediately the constant no's and all that negativity, it just didn't get to him anymore. It was like it just bounced right off his armor.
But look, building a psychic shield is really just the beginning. According to the principles of cyclomancy, once you truly master your mind gyro, it can open up a door to some even more advanced abilities.
So first, there's something called mental broadcasting. The idea here is that a fast-spinning mind gyro can turn your thoughts into a powerful frequency that you can then project toward another person's subconscious, almost like a radio signal. It's also said to dramatically enhance your intuition. See, your mind gyro isn't just a transmitter, it's also a receiver. By learning to tune it, you can supposedly start to pick up on all those subtle signals and hidden truths that your conscious mind usually just filters out.
The source even gets into what it calls psychic healing, which is the practice of using your own focused energy to help rebalance the body's energy field where there might be pain or illness, all to support its own natural ability to heal.
But, and this is a really big but, with this kind of power comes some serious responsibility.
The system is built on a very strict ethical code. The main rules are 1. You never violate another person's free will. 2. You only use these abilities for positive and helpful intentions. And 3. You always stay humble, recognizing that you are just a channel for this energy. You're not the ultimate source of it.
So it all comes back to this one central idea, that you are a living, breathing vortex of energy, constantly interacting with the universe all around you. Which leaves us with one final, pretty provocative thought. If any of this is even remotely true, what are the real limits of your own potential?